That is what I
thinking of
was
you.
looking at doing. Didn't mean to talk over you, Jeff. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I need to. The next time we get some experience points, I will have enough to spend on the next thing I'm spending on. So
Yeah, I need a total of 20 points to get my next thing, so it'll probably take 2 sessions, and then I'll have 5 left over again.
The magical 5.
Thankfully, you've already had it all written out.
Somebody's got his skill tree all planned out, doesn't he?
Right?
Like I said, I've got like the next 130 points spent already.
So did you decide on once you've gotten all of the specializations for this group, have you already decided on the next thing you're going to start doing to specialize in?
So you, first of all, don't have to buy all the boxes before you can go into a new specialization. Yeah. So don't think you do. Right. But yes, I've already started looking at what my next specialization is going to be. In fact, that's why I bought that book. The one, one of the books that I bought.
And if you happen to go by Tucson Games and Gadgets in the Tucson Mall, they have like a crap ton of Star Wars books now that they're back in print.
Nice. Yeah, I bought Forged in Battle, and I bought the core rule books for Age of Rebellion and Edge of the Empire. Forged in Battle I bought because it has the soldier, specializations that you can get. And I found like pictures of them online, but they weren't the greatest. So they weren't super easy to read. So I was like, screw it. I'm just going to buy the book. And I bought the book. And I was like, well, it's dumb for me to have one of the edition books and not have the core rule book. So I bought the core rule book. And I was like, well, shit, now I'm just missing one of the 3 core rule books. I might as well buy the other one.
Now you're victimized by completion.
Yep. But yeah, now I have a total of 6 specializations, I think, that I can look through to try to figure out which one I want next.
I mean, every career tree has something good in it. Just going to throw that one out there.
Yeah, I know. That's what makes it difficult, is I've looked at several really yummy trees.
And then, of course, the important thing is when you get to the tree, what is yummy for you at the moment, and pray that you do not alter the plan further.
Right? Yeah, once I've bought into a tree, it's easy for me to plan out what I want in that tree. It's then picking out the new tree, because let's see, I've got the heavy talent tree now available to me, the Trailblazer talent tree, the Vanguard talent tree. And all of them have yummy things in them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Vanguard might be a good one for you to branch out your soldieriness.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Vanguard, and within the first 3 rows, you have 3 ranks of toughened. That would bring me up to like 24 hit points. Let's see, that's an additional 6, 22. That'd be pretty impressive. You get some moving target stuff in there. You get some rapid reaction. Oh, and now look at that. There's a 4th rank of toughened. You can I could get up to 24 wounds.
See, who needs to be a tough Wookiee when you can totally just, make it your own way.
Yep. Then you get down to the very bottom and you have seize the initiative. Once per session as a maneuver may make a hard athletics check. On success, other PCs may take their turns immediately. I mean, how awesome would that be?
So I'm definitely thinking we're missing David tonight.
It does seem that way.
Because he has not even viewed the Facebook pages, so I hope he's okay. But we shall move on without him, as if he left some weird, creepy orders with you guys, which he totally will.
Yeah, I noticed we didn't do the normal, hey, everyone good to game today in the morning. So I think that reminds people, oh shit, this is Tuesday.
Oh, didn't I do it yesterday? Everybody was giving thumbs up yesterday.
Well, it was yesterday, but it's also you had a poll in there.
About what we want to do.
It's like, once we get to March, do we want to continue or to there? That was not exactly, hey, are we playing tomorrow?
I figured that might have scared you guys, so I didn't even tell Kelly about that yet. But it looks like y'all don't need Kelly to be a tiebreaker, so.
So, I mean, there's also, Jim, the heavy talent tree.
The heavy is a good one for weapons you use.
I can pick up 3 levels of barrage, and each one gives me 1 additional damage per rank of barrage to 1 hit of successful attack while using ranged heavy or gunnery skills at long or extreme range. That would just be beautiful. I would never go into the theater of combat again. Okay, you guys go ahead. I'll just sit here a mile away on top of this hill.
Can someone just park the ship with me sitting on its wing,
Yep.
I will float over the battlefield and just pick off our targets. You guys flush them out.
And every time you guys roll a despair, Jim's like, oh, Ophelia was distracting Grix. He wasn't able to do anything.
She pops up on a little hollow communicator he's got next to his rifle.
Right?
Just as you're about to do something, she pops on and asks what you want for dinner, wearing that special little apron you like.
Oh, no.
So,
don't say things like that when I'm drinking iced tea.
So, don't worry. She would totally do that in front of all your friends, too, while you're planning missions.
Uh-huh.
I brought you all iced tea. I mean, she is from the service industry, by the way. I mean... So, since the last mission and this mission, you guys had a little bit of downtime.
Oh, hey, that's a new source book that I bought.
A downtime source book?
Oh,
I don't even have that.
Squirrel. No, I happened to see this picture on page 136 of Edge of the Empire. 2 guys speeders. One that's really prominent and noticeable has this blue and gold, yellow theme to it, which made me think of Fallout. Source book.
Oh, from Mobius?
Yep.
Uses the...
It does. I am not super familiar with the 2D20 system, but okay, I played enough other systems that it'll translate quickly.
Oh yeah, it's a really easy roll under system, and you can always get a 3rd D20 if you spend some of your momentum on your group and you get a resource, which is nice. Playing Conan with that system, and I think that's right. Between last mission and this mission, you guys had some time to spend some of your experience. Totally did some stuff that was interesting, right?
Yes.
So,
see, I'm not sure what prices are like on the wheel, but there is something interesting that I did want to look into purchasing. I'd have to double check to make sure I have enough money for it at this point, because I just did spend quite a chunk of change.
The nice thing is that on the wheel, prices are pretty much straightforward, and pretty much everything can be purchased, which is nice.
So let's see. I was going to look to purchase a dart speeder with remote DVI activator, which would cost me about 900. And how much money do I have?
So you want a little?
Yeah, so I have just under $5,000. So I could actually purchase said remote DVI app.
Somebody wants to have a fancy dancy remote control motorcycle.
Basically, yeah, so when we're in situations where I am a little bit away from the group, up a nice little sniper spot, I have a away vehicle. The assassination mission that we did on whatever that planet was.
You're just like, heck with that, guys. I want to be able to catch up with you quickly. Y'all run too fast.
Yep. Out of my little hiding spots.
So did anybody else buy anything interesting that's in the ship now?
I have not figured out how to buy anything, so I have a fuck ton of money and no idea how to buy things.
Well, you go through the book and you find something you want to buy, and you say, "I bought this."
The book that I just now got 3 minutes ago. Yes, I'm absolutely going through it.
More importantly, you bought galactic street cred.
I thought we earned that.
You do earn it from a certain point of view.
DLS.
Hey, look. So I'm guessing I should enter that onto the vehicle's planetary tab.
Yep, that would be the planetary tab for you.
All right. Got it right now. I'll do it at another time because there's a lot of things to enter.
Okay, so as you guys are time and space doing your thing, you guys see Kopesh get like a weird look on his helmeted face since he still doesn't show his face to y'all.
You know what else we see? We see the GM resetting the pool so that we can roll.
Wow, somebody's in a hurry to give me some dark side points. That's what I'm seeing.
Gotta do the start of the session.
Never text.
My bad, wrong button. Or point back.
Nope, sorry, you spent Grix. I had one on the board. I was quite happy.
Hey, there you go. I gave you one.
So Kopesh gets a weird, peculiar look and proceeds to, get into the chair and does this meditative thing. And you see him like tilting his head and his shoulders are moving like he's having a conversation. It's very, very offsetting for the rest of you that have no idea what he's doing. This could be what space madness looks like. As immediately he kind of leans over to the hyperdrive and starts typing in some coordinates, which immediately is worrying you, some of you, because you haven't really seen him astrogate at all. And
he's gonna jump us right through a star.
As he kind of gives you the engage gesture to go ahead and go to those coordinates.
Okay, so
you follow your Dark Overlord's commands.
Sure. Yeah, he ain't my Dark Overlord, but yes, I will hit the go button.
Okay, so after a few seconds, you guys, pop out of hyperspace, wondering where his coordinates are, and you find that you're floating basically in the void between solar systems. Obviously, it is definitely a very discreet, private place. Does anybody want to use the sensors? As he gets back into his little meditative stance and kind of ignores you guys like he's having a conversation with someone.
What does sensors do?
So that would tell you, basically, it's your radar. See if there's anything out there in the blackness of space that you can't see with your naked eyes.
Would this also tell everybody in the blackness of space that we're here?
I mean, you did just rip in out of hyperspace, so if anybody was even half paying attention on their sensors, they would totally see you.
It was more of a little tear, not so much as a rip.
I mean, would that be a computer's roll?
That would totally just be a computer's roll.
Well, I've got 2 ranks and a green. If you
I could help you.
I've got 2 rings.
Oh, wait.
I've got 2 yellow.
Better than we are.
Yes, but we can help you.
Yeah, definitely help me out.
Okay, so the Wookiee is on science station. Totally looks in the little visor like Spock would. Go ahead and roll your computers as you do a radar dip to see where you are and what's around you, because there's just the blackness of space in your view screen. As immediately, our Wookiee, when Cal does his little thing, you realize coming up rather quickly, but not like assault speed or anything like that, nothing to freak out over, is a weaponless craft that you totally identify with those 3 successes as a automated delivery skiff. You've seen them before. They're all over the galaxy. You put packages in them, you UPS them to where they need to go. That type of deal.
So it's Amazon.
Yep. And you have 2 advantages. How would you like to spend those?
Shooting it out of the sky.
Quickest mission ever.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's an option.
as Kopesh kind of like in a half dream kind of looks up and says, "Allow it to dock with us."
So we allow it to dock with us.
Yeah.
Okay, so you turn on the little landing lights in your spaceport, and it slowly comes up and super slowly, cautiously docks with you, and you get the little doo-doo-doo chime for you if you would like to come to your airlock to get your package.
I'll jump up and go get it.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Golda.
I'm like, I'll jump up and go get it.
So is everyone going, or is she alone, it sounds like?
Go with her.
I'm still piloting. And
Okay.
shooting it out of the sky.
So is pretty much is BT and Sin go, and you hear the door whoosh as they head towards the airlock. Cope just kind of looks over at you, Grix, and says, "Prepare to set the coordinates for a jump.
Okay,
They're
boss.
going to the planet Thyfera. I will be in the meditation chamber." And,
Okay, boss.
Kopesh gets up all unceremoniously, flaring his cape, and heads to the meditation chamber.
Okay.
I mean, it's because he's not here, so he can be as dramatic and over the top as we want him to be.
He's going to finally do
True.
some Darth shit here. Whoosh goes the
Right.
cape. He's been under dramatic for this whole time.
I think Trailblazer looks pretty sexy too. Oh, it's such a hard choice to make.
Farah, give me your astrogation check.
I'm letting someone else set the course for. Yeah, because
Okay.
we already established that if I'm piloting, I can't set astrogation. So somebody else has to do it.
Sounds like Cal's being.
Yeah.
I'm happy to
I
do
think
it.
he has the best.
I've got 4 green.
As Cal's finally saying, "Thank God we're finally going to a planet not dominated by humans."
Yeah.
They
All right.
suck.
Ready?
Yep.
Is planet Farah not dominated by humans?
It is not. I mean, if someone wants to totally get to a computer terminal and do a computer search, I can totally info dump on you later, mainly during hyperspace jump. So you plot in the course, and you think it's a great course. It's a little faster than normal because you're using those super secret Wookiee pathways. I mean, for those old school Star Wars fans, there was that rumor that there's a super secret Wookiee underground railroad space thing. Chewbacca was apparently part of them. That's the only reason that
confirm nor deny the existence of these.
That's the only reason that Han was able to do it in 12 parts or less.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys go to the airlock, and immediately, as soon as you hit the button, you get the and the airlock opens up, and there's an automated loader droid there, and he's got 4 rather large canisters that are about the size of, I think, the water igloos.
Mm-hmm.
And they clearly have in Galactic Commons stenciled on them Bacta.
Bacta tanks? Cool.
Yeah, they basically are the storage can of what Bacta comes in. And the loading droid waits for you to step back, so he walks in and puts down the 4, then grabs 4 more and puts those down on top of them, and basically gives this very, very childlike wave, and the airlock door closes from their end, and you hear the warning klaxon that they're going to disconnect any second.
Okay, and you said that they put down 4 and then they put down 4 more, so we have a total of 8 of these?
8 tanks of Bacta, yep.
Okay. All right.
Do we have a Bacta tank on board?
You do not.
So we just took delivery of 8 tanks of Bacta. Do we have any instructions on where to take them?
I'm sure our illustrious leader does.
Totally be giving you more information in a little bit. So do you guys stow them in the storage area?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Meanwhile, Cal is staying up on those sensors, right, Cal?
I am.
And the sensors, Cal totally sees that the little delivery shuttle heads off, flies a nice, good, safe distance, and then goes into hyperspace.
Away it goes. All right.
Until we leave this airspace, let's make sure nothing else comes looking.
Is Bacta like a super expensive product, or is it like Bactine?
It is super expensive. It's the stuff that Luke Skywalker was floating in, and you've probably seen Vader and a few different things now floating in. It's the super good.
I know what it is. I just don't know like its value.
Yeah, it's super expensive, and it only comes from one planet, even though the planet freely gives it to the galaxy, which is why it's such a rip, because they give it away to free and everyone else charges out the ass for it.
Oh, okay.
Supply and demand. And especially during wartime like you guys are, it's really expensive. I mean, think of it as like when you saw Luke coming out, they were squeegeeing his ears out for every last drop of
it. I missed that part, but I believe you.
So they come up and tell you guys the cargo is secure, as Kopesh calms you from the meditation chamber, and his voice sounds really weird. It almost sounds like he's not wearing his modulated voice helmet right now when he's talking to you. And his voice, you might finally be hearing Kopesh's real voice. As he basically tells you, as long as the bridge is secure, i.e. no sidekicks, you got rid of them all, but he's saying that to be careful just in case, that you have cargo that needs to be delivered from a certain point of view. I've been instructed by a Lord of the Sith, and of course when you do this, the creepy Sith talk, you guys get the creepy, we don't have the Force EBGBs. Kythera.
Kythera, huh?
Our mission there is to make sure that our cargo is spread amongst the smuggling ships of the Republic that the Ratrix supply back to. And he gets this, he's like he's, having a conversation with someone else off camera that you don't see. As he says, we are to make sure the smugglers take our Bacta as part of their supplies, providing the Republic with tainted Bacta.
Tainted Bacta?
Do you say that?
I look at who am I with? It's BD, right?
Yeah, I'm next to you.
I turn and look. I kind of glance at you and I raise an eyebrow and I'm like, painted Bacta?
Tainted.
Oh, tainted. That makes a big difference.
It's more
especially just whoever's going to be put into it.
I mean, as long as it's not me, I only care so much.
As all of a sudden,
like, I don't use Bacta.
all of a sudden, Sin's thinking she needs to go wash her hands after handling those tanks.
That's a little gross.
And as you guys have your moment, he continues on because I'm totally thinking Grix didn't hit the mute button. As we are to land on the planet and ingratiate ourselves with the smugglers there working for the Republic.
So you'll be staying in your chamber.
As you can practically hear the nod. I've been instructed to maintain meditation in the chamber, and I should go unnoticed by any Jedi forces on the planet.
Should.
Just don't roll any despairs, and we should be fine.
You felt the air quotes with the Force. Engage when ready. I will stay in meditation. Please do not disturb my meditation.
You got it, boss.
And this is how the GM takes you out of the picture here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you guys do? Besides turn off the comm button.
Turn off the comm, tell Cal to punch in the coordinates, and hit the go button.
Okay, everybody straps in. You put in the coordinates. Cal totally tells you, I've shaved some time off this trip. It should be 6.5 hours rather than the full 10-hour trip.
Nice.
So you guys definitely have time to kill and do anything if there's anything particular you needed to wrap up, as you feel the ship lurch into hyperspace, and then it gets into the nice settled little slalom feel that you feel comfortable walking around the ship with no problem. As the meditation chamber door is currently in the locked position. I mean,
and all the trays are upright.
Kopesh and his acolyte are meditating.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
That's what we call it.
This is how you get little Sithlings.
You.
Okay, so is there anything particular, or do we screen swipe to popping out?
I'm fine with screen swiping, because
if someone wanted to, they could totally get on the computer and type in the words Thyfera and see what comes up.
Yeah, I want to do a research background.
Okay.
What's going on?
Go ahead and give me a computer's check to see what you have on the computer files about Thyfera.
I just totally had the image of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book pop into my head.
Yep. Don't panic.
This beautiful breakdown of Thyfera, a hot
Welcome to Magrathea.
Located in the Polyth system on the Rima trade route on which most of the galaxy's Bacta is produced. And of course,
so it's Magrathifera.
As of course, you find out that the planet is very lush, very vibrant green. It's got 2 beautiful moons. It has been known by some xenologists as an enjoyable place to take vacations. And the native dominant intelligent sentient species are insectoids. As little hops up shortly, because I'm doing it as we speak. Now that I've built it, I will toss you over there.
Oh, he's cute.
Oh yeah, cuddly.
I mean, for future generations, these would be the race that creates the droidicas.
Uh-huh.
Because they do have an instinct to curl up in a ball when in danger. And currently, the planet is under Republic protection, which totally tells you that it belongs to the other side, not the Empire, that you could totally get your way in there. But is currently under open trading thanks to the Smugglers Guild, which, thankfully, due to the aid of the smugglers during the war with the Empire, have legitimate titles to their organization, which is known as the Free Traders of the Republic. And of course, it shows this little group of a bunch of smugglers that broke the Imperial blockade on Coruscant and brought them food and medical supplies, and they're all touted as heroes and good guys for a bunch of, scum-sucking pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And you do get the slight also reference, because you had 2 successes there, that Bacta could actually be contaminated in a few different ways, but none that should be like lethal or anything.
What's the most common type of contamination?
Someone can give me
Like, what does it cause?
Check for that.
My medicine.
Basic computers does not tell you that answer, but if you have
I have 3 green in medicine. Does anybody have a better?
Medicine.
No.
I've got 3 green and a yellow.
And
Okay, so again, the Wookiee
meat bags
has the better stat.
All right, I will roll medicine if we're ready.
We are ready.
Okay.
Okay, so looks like not only did Sin take a point of strain, but also our Wookiee does too. So, as a Wookiee, there's all kinds of neurotoxin type of things that could be used to poison Bacta. But who would be the monster that would do such a thing? I mean,
I know, right?
That'd be like putting, smallpox and insulin. That's a horrendous, evil thing to do to somebody.
It is.
Not if they're your enemies.
Tidy, lefty, loosey.
So do you guys have any more questions before the jump out of hyperspace happens?
Probably not.
They're pretty agreeable, these insects, to bipedal humanoid races.
Yeah, they're super cool. They build little contraptions. They make spaceships out of dead bugs on their planet. They seem to be very industrious. They use carapaces as building materials for, beetles the size of a, large yacht.
No.
And is one of their favorite pastime beverages perhaps beetle juice?
No.
I don't think they've ever collectively tried.
You're welcome.
Who knew? He has a sidekick now, and he's got dad jokes. We know what's happening on the wheel where his girlfriend's safely parked. So, you get the screen swipe, and the ship pops out of hyperspace at the nice, handy-dandy beacon that's out there that tells people to line up at this spot and then come on in. You get the crackle buzz of this, and then of course the translator immediately says, "This is Space Command and Control. Please follow the following coordinates to land. Please state your business and your ship's designation."
Transmit the
lies that we have.
the fake code that we have, which I believe is the last thing we had the ship set up for properly.
As you get this reply,
get on the horn and basically say, blah blah blah. We're here to make a special delivery.
As the translation comes across your screen of, it's an old code, but it's still good. And you get the cleared for landing, and he basically gives you this hex, and then like 3 different numbers that means absolutely nothing to you because this is not standard space coordinates that you're given, but thankfully your heads-up display is translating it to there's a series of honeycomb-shaped parking spots for ships, and it kind of points 2 this way, then 1 that way, and it totally makes sense when you look at it from above if you had a bug brain. And I take it you're going to freely land in the middle of the other trader ships you see out there.
Sure, wherever they're directing me to land, I'm going for it.
And somebody, while he's doing that, give me a perception check.
My perception is only 2 yellow.
I'm 2 yellow and a green.
Anyone beat 2 yellow and a green?
Yeah, free.
I just got 2 yellow.
Look
Okay.
at all you metagamers.
That's right. Good Lord, can I roll anything that's not a threat today?
So Sin
I mean,
is,
technically, you could roll a despair if you had a red in there, so let's not wish for that.
Yeah.
Sin's totally feeling a little sweat because she's got, Dark Force user in the meditation chamber, pretending to not be here. As you clearly see a Republic patrol boat go flying by softly and gently. You see the Republic logo on it, and it's flying by. It's a little armored assault ship that's probably got like 12 troopers on it, and it's got some big guns pointed on it. And you kind of wave and cruise natural.
Like casual.
And you see quite a few ships out there loading up different cargoes and things. And I'm assuming you park your ship in your designated parking spot?
Yep.
Okay. So you pull up, you park. No noise comes from the meditation chamber. It's completely silent in there.
Soundproofing is wonderful.
Do you guys take the rest of the crew to go check out the containers?
Yeah, why not? Just got to make sure that, how much is, tainted there.
As BT
Well, I'm not touching it
for taint.
I'll touch it.
So you look at these cylindrical shaped containers. They look kind of like beer kegs, with protective housing around it, so it doesn't break open and spill, green slime everywhere. And you see where your compatriots there locked them down onto the deck so they wouldn't slide around or anything.
Practical, effective.
What do you guys do? I mean, each one's about the size of a beer keg, so you could easily pick one up each without straining yourself.
Did Kopesh say what we were supposed to do with these?
Yeah, didn't he say we were supposed to deliver them to some resistance troop and make sure that they take them?
I do believe he said to discreetly put them on the smuggling ships that were delivering them to the Republic.
Oh, okay. There we go.
But there's another way that Griggs interprets that as Republic forces. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Before the war, I'm sure Griggs got hired to snipe pirates and smugglers.
Who doesn't?
Right?
That's just Saturday night.
Right? I mean, yeah, he was only 11 at the time, but...
He was precocious.
Mm-hmm.
The job paid well. That's all that matters.
Did they tell us the name of the ship that we're supposed to look for? Or it's like, quote, the ship, like we could put it anywhere and say we did it.
That's up for you guys to interpret.
Is there a ship's roster? Like, is there a list of ships that are docked?
There is, if you want to contact, get off your ship and contact somebody, or contact somebody from the communications.
It's not something that we can just research?
You suppose you could slice the system?
You could either slice the system or talk to the bug that's basically, think of it as like a harbor master, And if you can see if you can convince him to tell you this information, it's a little non-standard thing to do, but you might be able to talk him into it. Or you can get out and talk to the other crews that are standing out and about.
Hey, which of you are smugglers trying to reach the rebels? Think that would go over well?
Well, remember, they're
Maybe
not
not.
reaching out the rebels. They work for the
Sorry,
Republic.
The Republic, excuse me.
You guys
Didn't
So,
you
are
respond to that line of questioning?
So, Cal, do you think you can hack the network and find a ship log? Clearly not.
Cal is busy watching Trandoshan Hollowborn.
He's a Wookiee. Do you know how terrible
that's why it's worse, because he's a Wookiee.
Exactly.
Sworn enemy. Oh my god.
With a spoon, because it hurts more.
That's right. I'm trying to look at like what skills I have that would be useful here.
I mean, you could always do the old spacer trick and say, hey, I got mail to go back to blah, blah, blah planet. Anybody go in that direction?
Did we were specified that they were going to a specific planet?
No.
See, then.
Right, there's no data other than put it on a ship that's a smuggler ship.
It's almost like somebody was getting a bad force projection in their head to give you bad directions.
Kept getting static.
God damn, Kopesh, why aren't you got your rabbit ears on?
Right?
Kopesh says,
wiggle them around a little.
Trust your feelings, you know them to be true. I mean, what do you guys plan, or are we stalling for Cal to show up?
No, I'm trying to think of what we could possibly do, right? Like in my brain, I'm trying to think, if I get off and I go talk to the harbor master, like, how do I convince the harbor master to talk to me? I'm kind of low on charm.
Well, the beauty is you are a Twi'lek, so you do get a plus to charm, right?
Or deception.
Yeah.
Where does that show? Is that something that Jim back factors in for me?
That would be on your character sheet as having a rank of either deception or charm.
I have 2 charm and no deception.
She's got 2 ranks in charm. I mean, she can be pretty charming when she plays with her Leku like hair. You know, I'm just saying. She does the Leku flick, and you know she's gotten serious.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna and so please do not start asking me what I ask him. The questions are, where the fuck is the smuggling ship? If you could help me, how do I question that without questioning that? I'm gonna use every bit of those 2 ranks in charm.
Okay, so you see, there's about 12 different ships spread around, you know, in different little honeycomb-shaped landing, you know, spots. So you guys are coming off your landing ramp off your ship, and you're just gonna like walk over to the next nearest ship. Which, by the way, that is totally, think of truckers at a truck stop. You know, it's totally not unknown of for crews of one ship to another to just say, hey, do you have a cup of sugar I can borrow? You know.
Okay. So then I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try to talk to, find another ship, one that doesn't look shiny and pretty, but also doesn't look like a piece of trash.
Okay, so pretty much I can tell you none of these except for the Republic patrol boat look shiny and pretty. They all look like working people's vehicles.
Okay.
Oddly enough, yours is shinier than theirs.
Not looking for the hoopty, but I'm also not looking for the Mercedes.
Okay, so you go
mid-range.
A nice Volvo.
Before we just randomly pick from all the ships here, that's why I would really love to hear from Jeff. Hey, I heard a giggle from
his
Jeff.
laugh.
We missed you there for a little while. Can you log into one of the terminals to maybe get a shipping route for these ships so that we can at least eliminate ships we aren't going anywhere near any of the Republic?
I can absolutely do that.
Well, aren't you wanting one that goes to the Republic?
What's that?
Weren't you wanting one that's going to the Republic?
That's why I said eliminate all the ones that aren't going to the Republic.
Oh, I didn't hear the aren't part. You cut out that part, so I was looking for clarification. Okay.
All right. If Jim's ready for me.
If you're going to hack the Harbor Master's files, sure. On one of the most technologically advanced alien races.
Oh, we both did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, but Grix got it first, so.
I was thinking Jim did it, and so I was like, all right, who got it first? Oh, wait. They were both light side.
I was thinking, damn, he rolled that skill pretty damn fast. So I've got your upgrade in there.
All right. Here we go.
Okay. So, 2 threat. I'm going to hold on to those. Don't worry, something's happening with that 2 threat when you're hacking in their system, and you find this nice little directory, and you open the subdirectory up, and you're basically looking for what they have as their registered next stop, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to now, are you looking for core Republic worlds, or are you willing to accept ships that are also going to the mid-rim?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just needing to know how much I'm drilling this down. That's what I need to know.
Yeah. Any ships going to mid-rim as well. Because, I mean, they are Republic worlds. We could be trying to hit one of the smaller worlds that would make it easier for invasion.
Yeah, and we got no frame of reference, specifically in that respect.
And I will AFK for one moment.
Okay, then I think we shall say let's make a time for drink run.
Okay.
And I will type in the answer to the question. So 6 ships total are going to the mid-rim and the core, 3 of which are going those 6 to the core, and 2 are going to the capital planet, which is, of course, Coruscant. And I shall run to the restroom and get a drink myself.
All right, I'm back.
And I'm totally back, by the way.
Welcome back.
As am I.
And we have solved the mystery.
And which mystery would that be?
The missing David.
Yes.
He forgot about the game today.
Yes, because he thought it was Monday.
The whole having Monday off.
Mm-hmm.
Totally do that. We did not have Monday off, so we did not forget.
I worked.
Me too.
I had yesterday off, and I did have to remind myself, oh, no, today's Tuesday, there's a game.
And Kelly is totally saying she worked too, but her mute button's on right now.
Yep, sorry.
I can hear her through the wall, but you guys can't. So I think everyone's back, right?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So as I posted in the notes there from what Cal gleamed from the Harbor Master's announced who's going to where on their next stop for the command and control. You have 6 ships heading mid and core, 3 of which are heading towards the core, and 2 of those are heading to the Republic capital. And those are the 2 names of those 2 ships, by the way. And they are conveniently in opposite directions from your ship. You're parked right in the middle of the group.
So now, Sen, you get to make a 50-50 shot of which one you want to talk to.
I mean, she can always go talk to both. I mean,
True that. Okay, so which one do you want to talk to first?
I like Pure Vita. That sounds good. We're going to go talk to Pure Vita.
Okay, Cal totally brings up the little hex-shaped map that probably totally makes sense to an insectoid brain of how the path goes, and when it shows there, this little ant-like path. And you basically see it's a nice little jog from your ship to walk over to their ship. You see people loading. There's vehicles dropping off containers of different types and sorts. There's, food stuff that looks like a giant-sized version of crab meat, K-rab meat.
Okay.
So you going alone? You taking anybody with you?
Does anybody want to go with me?
And are you bringing any obvious weapons, by the way?
Just my devastating good looks.
Okay. Leaving your favorite sidearm with its flamethrower behind?
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely not taking a flamethrower somewhere.
I mean, it works for Ripley.
I do have my enchanted Night Sister blade with me.
Okay. Just in case you
Do you want one of us to come with you? And which one?
I mean, yes, it would be nice if somebody came with me, but I mean, I don't. If everybody's like, I'm not doing that.
I have no social skills. I'm happy to come with you as someone who knows how to use the boom booms.
Yes, and see, I too have no social skills, being just 1 green for charm, but I would be happy to go on the off chance I do get to boom boom.
So why don't you take BT with you? That way, if something does go sideways and we have to make a fast getaway, I am already in the ship ready to go.
Great.
And BT makes bigger boom booms than I do. I tend to put holes in things. She tends to blow them up.
Yeah,
Well,
yours are a
great.
bit more precise. Mine are,
It's like ground cover. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And if worse comes to worse, you can always jump on top of BT and have her jetpack away.
Is my jetpack powerful enough to do that?
If your brawn is high enough, yes.
Let's see here. Oh, hold on. My brawn is 2. Is that high enough?
That is
If
just
worse comes to
barely
worse.
for her not to be packing body armor and weapons to yes.
Okay.
So you guys go, following the path BT commits it to memory. As you drive by a couple of the ships, you see them loading it up.
Because the map makes sense to me.
So go ahead and Sin, give me a perception check as you're walking and watching and looking.
All right. Wait a minute. Did I do it wrong?
No, you did it right. It's just the dice didn't like
Okay.
you. It came up as a complete wash. No successes, no failures, no threats, no advantage. The magical blank. So you're more inclined to stay on target. You saw Pura Vida. You're heading towards that ship. You're not really noticing anything extra. You totally have your bounty hunter senses going that you're staying on target. You're keeping your
What
eyes
does
on the
BT
prize.
notice? Or is she just rolling along beside me?
Yeah, do I get to roll
If you want, sure.
perception? I mean, I'm probably not going to notice too much, but let's see. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I
As
got a
BT's
success.
little head is almost like it literally is on a swivel.
Right?
As she's looking back and forth, following you with the body, but the head's doing its own thing. You do notice those Bacta tanks you guys loaded in. You're seeing almost every one of these ships picking up mostly those and a few other items.
Well, that is their main export here, right?
Yep. So every one of the ships have tanks literally identical to the 8 tanks you have on your ship.
Okay.
And you see all different races. There's no like uniform race. It's these are all traders. They'll come from all different walks of life. There's droids, there's organics, and they're just loading up their stuff and just like camping out, almost like they have to wait an exorbitant amount of time for their cargo to show up. Probably have a pretty long queue for this, is what you're feeling.
Okay.
So you guys, you eventually finish your little course, especially with Sin being on focus here, going straight to Pura Vida, and you see a crew that's got their ship. They're loading up by hand the canisters and securing them down the deck, but they seem to have like some lounge chairs set up outside. They've got a coffee table with some kind of caffeinated beverage going, probably caf, because that's what Star Wars calls coffee. And they seem to be leisurely loading up their ship. What do you guys do or say as you come walking up? I mean, are you beelining towards their ship, or are you acting like you're walking abreast to the ship and you'll stop to strike conversation? What's your plan?
So they have a little entertainment section set out?
Well, they basically like a little table and some chairs, Like
Is there somebody sitting there?
Yeah, there's definitely somebody sitting there. Nice human, little bit on the elderly side, got the graying on the temples. Currently sitting with his fancy Ray-Ban-esque glasses, sipping on some beverage, watching his crew load up the ship. At least that's the
So he
impression
looks like
you
our
get.
captain?
Well, he looks nothing like your captain.
He looks like he is the captain. My captain looks...
You think he's definitely someone of importance on the ship.
Okay. Hey there.
And he kind of, leans his glasses down so he can stare at you, and he gives you a nice, gesture. Hello.
We just got in, and I was wondering if you know, this is my first time in this port. Do you know where is a good place to kind of rest up and enjoy yourself, get a good bite to eat?
And he kind of smiles when you say that. And do me a favor, roll me a quick charm to see how responsive he is.
Okay.
But he's definitely going to gesture for you to come sit at the chair next to him. Have something to drink since it's your first time here. Okay, so he's feeling kind of cold to you. But he definitely, gestures for you to sit down at the chair, and he says, Spacer's code when two spacers meet for the first time. The new one at the port gets shown the ropes by the old seasoned spacer.
Is that a thing?
That's totally a thing.
Okay.
Spacer's code. It's an old joke for space tramps. So the spacer's code is whatever you need it to be.
Okay.
If you're stuck on a planet naked because somebody conned you out of your clothes, Spacer's code is you have to give them a ride to the next port. At least they'll tell you that's the Spacer's code. And he basically gestures.
More of a guideline, really.
For Sin to sit down and pours her some of the beverage he's got in this really fine china-looking, dish set, and then pulls out a flask and puts the flask on the table if you want to season your beverage.
I surely do. And I smiled. Thank you so much.
Then he kind of gestures to his crew to continue on when they kind of stop and gawk at the Twi'lek sitting down next to the captain. The captain's he's not really making eye contact with you. He's just kind of now seems to be redoubling his efforts watching the crew do their thing to make sure that they don't screw around while they think he's busy. And he leans towards you but doesn't look at you and says, "First thing about this planet, do not eat the food, especially if it's still crawling."
I glance at my coffee cup and then back up at him. I was like, oh.
The second thing, don't drink anything if it has the word royal in it.
All right.
And
so I hold my hand out and I said, please forgive me. I don't know, my manners must have been lost at my last jump. My name is Sin.
And he kind of makes eye contact again and shakes your hand. He says, "And which one of these fine ladies did you come off of?"
I point over there towards my ship.
And he looks and he kind of eyeballs the ship for a second. You can totally see that he's taking it in there.
Okay.
I'm like, that didn't come out at all.
Nothing happened. Supposed to happen there?
That was
it's
my
a secret.
Fat fingering clicking the wrong button. As he just whistles when he looks at that ship and then looks back at you and then looks back at the ship. And he kind of glances around your waistline for a second. So you get the idea that he might recognize that that ship you're on is kind of traditionally a Jedi ship.
Yep. I lean back with my hands on my waist and push my jacket back. Just, casually, showing that I don't have any type of lightsaber on my hip.
He kind of, respectfully takes in the glance of your hips as well.
Like you do.
Like, as one does.
I'm just trying to really casually display that I do not have any type of force weapon.
As he basically looks over at BT and kind of gives BT the once over. And BT,
because he knows that within an astromech droid, it's easy to hide a lightsaber.
So, BT, what is your deception or stealth, by the way?
Alrighty, let's see here.
Do you feel his eyes gazing over your compartment?
I am going to go with stealth Well, actually, they're both. Yeah, I'm gonna go stealth.
And what is that? What's that number?
It's 4 green.
4 green. Okay, as I talk real slow to see if you're gonna burn one of those light side points as he's checking you out.
All right, hold on.
Oh, apparently you're burning a light side point to upgrade one of your purples to a red. I like that.
I am not.
You are too. That's exactly what you're doing.
Well,
he's checking you out, so he's rolling against your stealth. As you're being all shy and apparently trying to hide your multiple weapon systems.
I look like a regular astromech.
Who's trying to hide her rocket launcher in a compartment. As he kind of pulls his little.
I guess he can tell that I'm modified.
He pulls his glasses down and then you totally see him eyeballing BT with the knowing eyes of someone who knows shenanigans.
And I give him a cool as cucumber, butter wouldn't melt in my mouth smile and say, "Have you met my friend BT?"
These are not the droids you're looking for.
He just glances at you with a smirk. He says, "That is a mighty modified astromech you got there."
She has done quite well for herself.
As one of these days, BT's going to think about getting, secret compartments to hide those weapons of hers.
You don't know she might already have them.
Just because my picture shows them out, I am specifically designed to look, for the most part, like a regular astromech.
But you've never purchased secret compartments to hide them. Yes, sir. Gotcha. And he just
I didn't know I had to because I was specifically designed to, that's why they call me a blastromech, because I look like an astromech.
As he looks,
okay, so I know what I'm spending my money on.
Can I continue, please?
No. Yes.
As he looks further down, drawing his glasses all the way to the edge of his nose now, as he looks at BT up and down with this very disconcerting eye of something between appraising value and checking BT out there, and of course going back to Sin's hips, as one does.
They are there. They're there to be distracting.
So does Sin take any of the beverage in the flask, or do you just drink the tea?
Oh no, I said that I took it from the flask.
Okay.
Well, and when he said that, as I have the flask up and I'm about to pour it, and I'm like, "What's the name of this delightful addition?" And I tip my eyebrow, and I'm like, "Is it the Royal?"
And he kind of smiles at you, like, hey. As one of his crewmen say something with their deep gruddly voice there, that I'm not sure what that noise was. As he says, "No, don't worry. That's just a flask of Dark Star. It's a very nice spiced alcoholic beverage." And the way he says spiced, you think it's spiced.
So it's a narcotic.
It's
the spice plus flu.
Right? That's what I think. I was like, we are crossing genres. So I put like
drugs?
A small amount, not a huge amount, but a small amount in my drink.
One drop is all it takes.
It's iocane.
And of course, he comments about it's a mighty heavily modified droid you've got there. Is that your bodyguard? Husband doesn't let you out without him?
I grinned and I'm like, no, BT's my friend. I just enjoy spending time with them.
As he
and I'm like, I don't know if he's just like BT kind of in binary says like a girl's got to look after herself. Like, of course, hey, wouldn't you like to know?
As he basically
sort of
He kind of ignores the droid for the most part, but do me a favor and give me a vigilance check.
Me or
one of you guys, I'll let you pick.
let's see here. My vigilance.
Got 2 ranks, and so I've got 2 gold.
Yours is probably yours is better than mine.
All right, let's see how many threats I can get. 3. That's how many threats I can get.
So you watch BT's reaction, and of course you manage to almost hide your reaction to BT's little outbursts, and you kind of crack and just laugh because you notice that he's pretending to ignore BT's reaction, but you totally catch that he catches exactly what BT just said, and then he
including that.
And you catch that he catches it, and you both kind of have this crack up giggle moment where the whole crew gets to miss it, except I'm sure BT will play it back later of Sin giggling.
There aren't very many of those.
And he basically, takes the flask back and pours a double for himself in his glass. You're now thinking is probably all beverage and not calf.
No calf at all.
He basically asks, so what position in the queue are you guys for your cargo pickup?
We just arrived, so I'm assuming we're I don't know, what's the phrase, dead fucking last? Is that a spot in the queue that we can hold?
He
I was kind of I'm grinning and kind of shrugging my shoulders. I mean, that might be where we are, but we might even be further back than that. How does the queue work in this place?
Well, you see, and he basically gives you this big montage speech as you guys are sitting and drinking, explaining that each hex is a part of a bigger hex, that each hive is a part of a collective of 81 hexes. And he basically goes on explaining this to you in very, very montagey blah, blah, blah speech.
Amazing.
If you are unlucky enough, like he is, that your ship lands in a hex between 2 hives hexes, and you have to wait for both hives to show up with half of your cargo. And, if you're lucky, and when we point out the ship, he tells you that you're actually pretty lucky. The main hive is the one that will be giving you your cargo. So you should be seen within 21 days.
Oh my
awesome.
God.
And I the look on my face, my eyes kind of roll back slightly, and that I flutter them and I refocus, and I'm like, sounds great. That's super quick.
and of course,
what kind of turnaround is that? I barely have time to get my nails done.
he totally laughs at that one because he's finding you gruff but charming, in this gruff and charming way.
Yes.
So he basically, kind of not really flirts with you, and for a while you wonder if maybe he plays you as a team, until finally a very large, angryish looking woman comes off the gangplank of his ship stomping, which immediately gets your and BT's attention because she looks like she's about to hit one of you two. And he kind of puts his drink down real quick and just goes straight for the flask and takes a quick swig. And he says, and he kind of waves his hand because he totally forgot what your name was. He gives you that pause. Is my lovely wife, Callista. And just as he says that, she says, don't you lovely wife me. And she, of course, swings a quick punch at him that hits him in the shoulder, and he just kind of laughs.
I stand up as she's walking towards us, and I lean in towards her with a grin and hold my hand out, and I'm like, Sin, it's a pleasure. I didn't catch her name though. Can you tell me one more time?
And she just looks at you, and she literally gives you this judgy look, and then looks at him, and to this he blanches his cheeks nice and red and smiles, and you can totally see he's playing up this charming boyish roguishness that was not there a little while ago, and you're thinking, this is probably why. as he's totally basically putting you in a bad position. And she just looks at you and she says, "You can call me Captain Czar." And he just kind of politely, coughs and goes, "Go, Captain."
Go, Captain.
Trying to save a little bit of face. And she basically gives you this no-nonsense look of, "What can I help you out with? My crew is busy working with my lout of a husband supervising them. They've probably already messed up the loading order as it is. What can we help you with?"
Just came out to stretch my legs and get a little bit of conversation. And your very, very charming partner invited me to join him in a cup of calf.
And give me a charm roll.
Great.
As you might be luckier with her because she's not the hard ass that he is.
I doubt it, because everything I roll has a threat today. Let's see what we get.
You can always burn a light side.
Hey! No threats.
So,
yeah, but no success.
No threats.
You try to be charming with her, and she's already pissed at him, and by extension, anyone within 20 feet of him, which is you two.
Yeah.
But for 3 advantages, I will do something good if you trust me.
Sure.
And you totally have an extra advantage if you want to get back strain or something.
Yeah, I lost a strain earlier. I'd like to get that back.
Okay. So for 3 advantages, there's an unexpected subject as all of a sudden a little old antique, it's the dog style astromech, that looks like a dog sitting up, comes zipping out of the ship, chippery and zipping away and immediately, starts talking to her in binary and basically says, "Oh, enough, leave them alone. If anyone was
like,
the victimizer,
literally,
it was him."
BT.
Again,
I missed every piece of that conversation. The dog told her to stop bugging us.
Because if anyone was to blame, it was that useless husband of yours. I don't know why you took him on as crew. And of course, this is all in binary, which if you speak binary like Luke, you can totally pick up. You can just say you do if you want. It's not something that you have in your character sheet.
I do. I assumed we did.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were.
Right? Like I've been talking with BT.
Uh-huh.
So I assumed I was like, if I'm understanding when BT is talking and so is the captain, I thought that meant that I understood her.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just saying that out loud in general.
Okay.
Binary is not a thing that you do or don't speak. It's totally up to the player if they want to, sort of like the whole Wookiee thing. So,
Okay.
and this little astromech's got, the cutest, like, little old lady personality as it's berating the lazy lout for sitting there drinking calf while his crew is going to work. And she just turns at the droid and basically gives the droid the finger until it stops bipping.
And BT is just kind of the droid version of giggling.
Right. I'm grinning watching this exchange.
And
not interfering in it, not trying to put myself in the middle of it, just grinning.
And they have this little bit of an exchange for a few moments, and then finally she turns back towards you guys, and she kind of like does that whole rubs down her apron, but in this case it's her cargo pants on her jumpsuit, and she says, "What can I do for you besides my husband wasting your afternoon?"
I thought it was a pleasant way to spend my afternoon. I enjoyed the charming company and got off my wretched ship for just a few minutes. I smile and I stand up, right? And I'm saying this as I'm standing up, and I smile and I put my hand out to her again, and I'm like, "Captain, it was a pleasure to make your acquaintance."
And you see this kind of chipped away, the chip on her shoulder she had, especially when her husband gets up out of his chair when you started to stand up and immediately like does this half jog to the nearest person to help them to get
Bingo.
out of the conversation, basically. And she shakes your hand and says, I do apologize. We've been a little testy with all this grass growing under our landing gear here. We've been here for almost 2 months waiting for our cargo to be delivered, and we're still waiting on one more cargo load before we can leave.
And like, I literally never heard this man's name.
He never did give it. He was good.
He never gave it to me. Okay. So yeah, he told me that your location when you land here makes a difference of who can and who can't supply your load to you. Apparently I landed in a fairly okay spot, so hopefully I'm not going to be here 2 months like you have been.
If the force be willing, you'll be lucky to be out of here within 21, cycles.
Okay. Well, thank you. I won't take up any more of your time.
Maybe you should ask them what cargo they're waiting on.
They're waiting on Bacta. That's what he said. He said that you have to get it from the insects. It's the Bacta.
Uh-huh. Okay. Missed that,
right?
Sorry.
Did I not understand what he was waiting on?
No, you were exactly right.
Okay.
Your compatriot listening to your open comm didn't catch it is what it was.
He was paying attention to the ship.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
He's got his scope off the rifle and he's just looking around with the scope.
Right? Looking for who he can shoot. So I smile at BT and I kind of bob my head back toward our ship. I'm like, come on, let's stretch our legs in that direction. And start slouching back towards our ship.
And you just hear as you guys are heading off, and in the background of the camera shot as you guys are walking, you just see her go up and she sort of starts smacking him in the back of the head with whatever she managed to pick up. And she snatches that flask from him and dumps it on the ground, pours it all out.
Oh no. So I'm gonna, like, you guys, one of the things she said towards the end was force be with you. I feel like that's not necessarily something that a Republic person would say. We're supposed to get this to Republic. She sounds like she might be rebel.
Well, remember, this is Republic. So this is when there was an Empire of the Sith and the Republic with the Jedi.
So Jedis are
still good guy-ish.
Yeah. But he recognized that it was a Jedi style ship. So
your guys' ship
they definitely seem to have Jedi ties.
Okay. I didn't catch that this was a Jedi style ship.
Yep.
Okay.
Because
I got that this one was headed. The note that I got was that this one, where'd it go? There's 6 ships. 3 ships are going to core and 2 are going to the capital. And so Pure Vita was one going to the capital.
Yep. So if someone were to
maybe I made an assumption.
Offer them some cargo, if they only need 4 tanks to leave, I mean.
Okay. So I'm gonna continue to walk away because if I delve back right now, I'm gonna look like an idiot.
Okay. And besides, this was just a fact-finding mission.
Yeah. So I want to kind of get out of line of sight for a little bit.
Okay.
Is Blue Blood? Where is Blue Blood in relation to Pure Vita?
Blue Blood is in the exact opposite direction of your ship from this ship. So you basically have to walk past your ship to head that direction.
But that's good because then theoretically they're not going to see us.
Totally out of
associating with both.
Right? That might look fishy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once we're out of her view, I'm gonna keep on strolling. So we're gonna head over to the Blue Blood. How do they look?
Immediately, you kind of guess the name of the ship actually refers to the color of the ship, because you see this big medium cargo freighter that is painted strikingly blue, and immediately it gets your attention.
Okay.
It's a Aurora class freighter. It's basically this big, ugly. Think what the Houndstooth, the Mandalorian ship, but it's a bus version of that. It's got 2 engines like on Firefly, but this big, square, bulky cargo container center body part. And it's painted cobalt blue. It's beat the crap out of, but in a few spots you actually see a nice, beautiful cobalt blue paint job.
Okay.
And as you come walking up, you see the cargo ramp is down, and there's this little fluttery sound, and out comes a Toydarian with their blue skin, and he's basically talking to this small little group of labor droids that are coming out of the ship. As you guys kind of start walking up, and he kind of notices you guys, and you kind of notice him. Is there anything you do? As he's giving orders to his droids to clean the engines. I want them clean, and paint them if we have enough cobalt blue.
I put on a smiley face and say, "Hey there, neighbor."
And he kind of gives you guys the up and down look. And give me your best charming roll. Remember, you still have 1 light side point you can totally use. I mean, if you want to. As he is giving BT a look of appreciation, as he rubs his little stubby chin with some hairs that haven't been shaved in a couple days.
Okay, that makes me uncomfortable.
Right?
And just go ahead and roll your charm, as he says, how much for your droid? I always need a new droid. I am a purveyor of many droids.
I look down and I affectionately kind of pat it, like what you would do with a friend, where you pat a friend on the shoulder and say, "I'd never sell a friend."
You, aww. I like you. You know the importance of a good droid.
And BT kind of does that side to side.
Excited astromech wobble.
R2 did, yeah.
I have never been betrayed by a droid. I could not say the same about my brother.
I give a nod, and I'm like, I fully agree with you.
I lost my 3rd wife to my brother.
Your 3rd wife?
How'd you lose the first 2?
Did you manage to hold on to the 1st and 2nd?
Well, some things are best let go into the universe, and if they love you, they come back, I've been told. I've never experienced this, but I've been told. So what can I help you with, neighbor?
I've just been just got here, was visiting on the other side, thought I would take a walk over here and see what there is to see. Just looking for what's new and important, and no, I am new and important. I'm looking for what is interesting to do.
Well, let me interest you into seeing my shop. I mean, you may not know it from the outside, but I am a purveyor of selling many wares from across the galaxy, and I have no problem setting up a good deal for fellow traders. There might be things that you need that you don't even need. Come, and he literally does this whole "come on into my shop," as you realize he's got, like, in the back half of his cargo hold a little curio shop setup kind of deal, where he's got different spices and things set up, and he's like, come on in, bring your little droid. He looks like a good droid.
And I look.
There's no other customers in there, right?
Nope, there's no other customers, just a bunch of his droids. He's got all different types of droids, and the droids are in better shape than his ship, you notice.
Do they have restraining bolts on them?
They do not have restraining bolts on them.
Ah,
Very
okay.
specious of you to ask that question.
I would not have thought to ask that question. Well done.
And you conveniently notice that in his cargo hold, he does have a oil bath that looks pristine. Like he filters his oil often. And the best droid maintenance kit ever. The tools are gleamingly clean. There's definitely a sense of pride you sense from this.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
BT is sitting there going, "Sell me, sell me."
no. Something tells me he
mentioned
would not
that I
approve
wanna
of
see
my
some
penchant.
galaxy.
I don't think he would necessarily approve of my penchant for making things go boom.
Yeah, well, he can tell that at a first look.
So is there anything about this that makes me anxious? Is it a normal thing for traders to do this, or is this like, what the fuck, man? I'm not getting in the back of your van.
On occasion, you do notice that traders, spacers will sell to each other, and clients are clients. I mean, if he's sitting here for a couple months, he's going to try to make money while he's sitting here. And
Okay.
you do notice, give me a perception check real quick. So I can tell you what more you notice. But wait, there's more. So
triumph and a threat, because I roll threats.
You have, take a strain because you're stressing, because you're undercover. You're pretending not to be a badass bounty hunter, but just a lowly trader. But for your threat, you do notice that 2 of his droids, the human-looking ones, you notice that they have, with an arm shot, conveniently set electrostaffs. So obviously you're thinking that those 2 droids that seem to not be laboring, but just standing kind of at a post, you totally notice that they're on guard, and they do have electrostaffs within reach. So they may be programmed for more than just labor work. They may be actual combat models. Which totally makes sense with the way he's totally, relaxed and chill and laying strangers onto his boat.
Okay.
And you're noticing that he is also selling some kind of seasoned meat that sounds exactly like the meat you were told to avoid.
Is it wiggling?
It is not wiggling, but it is seasoned like the Happy Family dish at some restaurants that tells you it's probably a 3-day-old dish camouflaged with sauce. Lots of sauce.
Lots and lots of sauce. All right.
He's got a little bit of bizarre foods, a little bit of some tools, a little bit of, this and that he seems to get. And he totally looks at you and says, if there's anything you like, I will totally barter. Because I understand us traders in space sometimes don't have cold, hard currency, as we often invest and diversify.
So do I see anything on his tables? Like, you said that you gave us a couple of ideas for to draw Kelly in. What other kinds of things does he have that I can see?
You see that he's got a few different. He's actually got one thing you kind of noticed now that you're looking closer, that he does have a Twi'lecian family totem. It's a very personal item. Twi'lek would not part with these. It basically looks like a little stick thing that every generation of Twi'lek adds an additional piece to it. So it looks like a miniature totem pole, about the size of a scepter or a rod.
Okay.
You do notice that he has one of those, and that's an extremely rare, very personal item that normally no one would ever give that away. And he's got a few pieces of random jewelry.
Yeah, they'll sell clan members, but they won't give that away.
Correct. I mean, we have to have standards.
Gotta set the bar somewhere.
So I reach up and I obviously key my comm, right? The comm that's been open this whole time. I obviously key it. So, and I say, hey, Cal, I see a couple of things here that you might be interested in. Do you want to head over? It's Hang a left off of our walkway. What's it called?
Gangplank?
What's it called? Gangplank. I thought of gangplank, but then I was like, that's off a boat. Hang a left off our gangplank, and you'll see me.
Sure, on my way.
Awesome.
And he basically looks at you as you're calling.
Clearly walking towards him. Like I'm clearly willing to get on this ship.
Okay, and he's just like, so how long do you expect to be here on planet?
Well, I was told that it will take about 20 days. But that was not the station. That wasn't the harbor master. That was another ship I was visiting. It was their guesstimate.
I hope for your sake that it's not as long. I unfortunately am in what they call the diox. I don't know what this means, but apparently I have to wait another 12 days for the last 3 canisters of Bacta that I need to arrive.
Yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Once those canisters arrive, I can get off of this godforsaken planet. I mean, you would think with such large, ferociously hungry insects as our hosts are, they would have better food here. But I have not been given a single piece of food that did not have a shell. And I don't mean in the good way like a snail. I mean like a bug. As well as nothing wriggles. I mean, I like land squid. I like my food that is soft and easy on my teeth, and it wriggles when I swallow it. I don't like this crunchy shelled food.
Huh. So when Cal shows up, I am going to scamper up into the back and start looking. And I'm going to pretend like I'm not zeroing in on this family token.
Okay. And
I'm going to try to be nonchalant about my desire to own this.
Cal kind of comes up and walks around. He says, a Wookiee! It's been forever since I've seen a Wookiee. Come, my furry friend. Your hair looks marvelous, I say. And he kind of rubs his bald, leathery head and says, I wish I could have a mane as beautiful as a Wookiee's. My second wife had a thing for hairy sentience, and I've been jealous of your beautiful mane ever since then. And he kind of looks at you, Cal, and looks at Sin. He says, so, the two of you a thing? Winky face.
I grin up at him, and I'm like, well, you know.
The heart wants
which is no answer at all. Wants.
And he kind of comes up to you, Cal, and he flutters up and gives you the elbow on your shoulder of, you got good taste for a Wookiee.
I just sort of give him the best sort of death glare of like, what the hell, dude?
So what can I help such a cute couple with? And he kind of looks back to see what Sin's doing. Is Sin fondling the family totem, or are you being shy about this?
I am being nonchalant about this.
Okay.
But I am like, I'm trying to figure out, like, can I figure out what family it is? Can I figure out, like, is there anything about this that I can tell at glance without actually studying it? But I'm looking at other things that are on the table as well.
It might be possible. Go ahead and give me space is a big place. Give me a lore roll. Basically, it's probably going to be just straight intel. You don't
Jesus God!
It's
going to. Wouldn't she at least get in a blue for it being Rylothian?
Well, that would be like saying, can you identify what Scottish clans,
Aye, but most clans can.
But I was going to continue saying as I was cut off, Scottish clans tartan when you're, German.
Why am I German?
Because comes from different sides of the planet and stuff. They're not every Rylothian knows every Rylothian.
Well, I'm Twi'lecian, so I don't know.
Well, Twi'leks are from Ryloth.
Ryloth is your home planet. But
Great, I did not know that.
Your people have been scattered all over space, so these things happen. And for the two threat, he notices you eyeballing
noticing.
And he elbows Cal and says, Hey, my friend. I see that your woman really wants that item. I'll make you a deal since you just landed on this planet and we might be friends for quite a while. I will make you a good price on that. You just name your price. Don't be shy. If you want to talk to her, you can talk to her. I'll let you two whisper. You look cute together with you being so tall and her being so cute.
Her being so not tall like you.
And he will give you the mocked privacy he offers. And he flutters over to one of his droids and tells the droid not to use that cobalt blue, but use that cobalt blue because it's older.
Right.
You see some droids go out there with this paint gun and they start painting on the outside of the ship. They have no problem painting on the ground because they don't care.
I will head over to Sid and go, well, he's willing to sell you that.
Okay.
What's it worth? Maybe 3 Bacta tanks?
I know, that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I was trying to understand it.
I mean, a fair price would probably be 1 Bacta tank if you happen to have one to fall off the back of the transport, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean,
or
in case...
you could sweeten the price. Because if you sweetened it to 3 tanks and he could leave from what he mentioned, means if you only give him, say, 1 or 2 tanks, he'll wait around for the rest. And why would he take, your 2 tanks and 3 extra ones? Well, because...
Throw in an oil bath for me.
There you go.
There you go.
And after a few brief moments, he'll gladly flutter on back to you guys to see what the cute couple is talking about.
I mean, if this is the guy, that we're supposed to, give them the contaminated ones, this would be the perfect opportunity to do it without suspicion.
All 8 of them are contaminated, right?
Yeah, you have 8.
So we could give 4 to him and 4 to the other one.
Well, 3 to him, 4 to the other one, and have 1 left over. And yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Let's try that. So what else is here? There's the oil bath. Is there give me some random piece of shit that I can talk about.
Okay, so
I don't want to say I want these 2 things. I want to say I'm interested in these random items plus these 2 things.
Okay, so you kind of look around and you see that there's a Imperial officer's cap, beautifully cleaned, and under a little glass display thing, it's got the Sith Empire's logo on it and has a metal pin. And you can barely see the roughness around the edges where the blaster bolt probably went through the skull of the person wearing it.
They did a good job restoring it.
They did a good job cleaning it up afterwards because that's what one does. And as you kind of look around to see what all is here, are you looking crafting items or weapons or just tchotchkes?
So I'm trying to think of if I was a trader, what would I look at to be something that I could trade?
Ooh, as a trader, you look and you see a data card badge that has an Imperial logo as well as rank on it. which this would be the Imperial badges that you would slot into a communications panel to basically identify yourself as an Imperial to get out of trouble or leave without being accosted. That would be something very
definitely
expensive.
black market.
Yes.
That
all right. So
definitely gets your attention.
that is what I'm interested in. So I'm gonna tell them I'm interested in the totem, the oil bath, and this data card badge.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask for some pricing, talk about what does that look like.
And
I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh, and he kind of, when you mentioned the oil bath, he looks at BT and gives this tisk because he kind of like picks his fingernail out of a nervous habit and says, "Well, first we shall discuss prices, but while we discuss prices, let's get your little friend into the oil bath, because I know from my own personal friends that are droids, they need an oil bath at least 3 times a week, or they don't feel fresh at all."
And I grin and I kind of wave my hand. I'm like, no, she had a bath 2 days ago. She said that she was feeling pretty good. The thing is, I do not want her incapacitated in any way.
Well, generally with the oil bath, all it is she rides into it and it drops her into the oil and she gets vibrated clean, like a jewelry cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
So she could stay activated while doing it.
And if you guys are here, then there's less chance. I mean, and I do have resistance for him. I mean, not that I see any use of restraining bolts, but I do have a resistance against restraining bolts.
And it only takes like 5 to 10 minutes, and she could be active while doing it, while you guys are watching.
Okay. Yes.
And he looks at you when he sees your hesitation. He's like, and if you want, you can watch him in the bath. I don't know why you want to watch him in the bath, but yeah, I've got friends too.
All right. So
he basically is willing to throw in the bath for free while you're discussing prices.
Yeah. And I nod and I kind of motion my head towards it and ask BT if she's interested.
And I'm like, oh, yes. Please.
Throwing off her clothes as she reaches for it. Frolicking through the desert, right? Yes.
As he instructs one of his maintenance droids to help BT get into the oil bath. And of course, that's repairing BT from any wounds and strain that you have.
Excellent.
Because it is like a back to tank for droids. As he looks at you as we hear BT make this sound of pleasure with air bubbling out of BT's chassis. And so what now we must discuss the price. What are you willing to pay, my friends?
Well, you don't have a lot of money, but you do happen to have some extra bacta.
As this mysterious voice comes over your comms. What?
Right?
Who is this? Who is this?
Nothing. So we just happened to, we've been here for just a little while, but one of the things at our last port, we got several canisters of Bacta. You had mentioned that you've been sitting around and you have like another 3 weeks that you have to wait before you can get the last of your Bacta. Maybe I can help fill in those extra slots there, and you can be on your way a little bit quicker.
As he just rubs his chin and looks at Finn, and he looks up at Cal and says, "You have a discerning taste, my Wookiee friend. You like female sentients that are both genius and beautiful. You are the luckiest sentient I know in the entire galaxy. I will gladly accept this price. Are you sure you can part with it? I mean, it might take you weeks to replace this."
But what item, you're looking at is rather irreplaceable.
Right? And I look down and I very slowly, like, don't touch it, but I run my hand over top of the location it holds in space. And I'm like, no, this is worth the wait.
And he claps his hands together and says, "Sold. I understand that you have a special reverence for it, as well as I think you might get some use." And he points out of the other item you picked, and he says, "Yes, I think we understand each other in a special way."
Mm-hmm.
I will make you a deal. I will accept your terms if you do one additional thing.
Yes, sir.
Can I have dinner on your ship tonight? I would love to try what delicacies your ship has, since your
Right?
larders should be full since you just arrived here.
Yeah. That's how that works when you go through interstellar travel, and then your larders are always full at the end of it. And I look up at Cal and I smile and I'm like, what do you think, hon? Do you think we'd be able to make something that he might find tasty?
I'm like, I don't know. I'm not the cook.
You're supposed to play
Who is
along,
the
Cal.
cook?
I'm giving you not eyebrows, but I'm giving you
Alkalite's
like
been doing on the
eyes.
ship? That's how she earns her place. So what does Cal do? I mean, we know BT's over there having oilgasm.
I'm purring, and the droid equivalent to purring.
Cal is a little, he's like, I don't know, letting people on our ship.
You got to remember there is a Sith on the ship, and his
That is
acolyte.
true.
Perhaps you could have your
Ooh, rather than it being on our ship, do you think we could do something nice out on the deck? Do you think we have stores to be able to do that?
yeah,
Like the way the other dude set up a little table?
Or have Ophelia bring like noodles and stuff over to his ship, since he said he was looking for something slimy and wriggling. Well, we can't do the wriggling, but noodles are a close second.
We can do wriggling.
I don't think we have anything living on the ship that we can serve.
But we do have stuff that's soft. Remember, he said he liked soft.
That's what I'm saying. Noodles.
Okay,
That's kind of like wriggling tentacles.
We can poke the noodles and they wiggle.
So he will gladly accept your guys' invitation to dinner. See how he managed to upsell you guys, and free food. So he basically, has his droids, come with him to dinner. And I'm assuming you guys actually do set up something nice outside your ship.
Yep.
As some of the other crews are kind of like totally doing that whole snooping, like you're at an RV park, seeing what you're doing. As he comes
We're
up
tailgating.
with three of his.
Does Captain Czar show up at all? Is she looking at us?
She sees you guys from a distance, but she's not looking to socialize much. She's too busy keeping an eye on her husband.
Okay. So does it work?
Yeah, I mean, he's more than willing to make the trade with you guys. I mean, this is pretty generous of you.
All right, great.
As you totally see him as he's walking back with his droids carrying the canisters for him. As he stops and talks to like one of the other ship captains after dinner, he's feeling pretty good. He feels like he came out ahead here, and he's going to be leaving this pit. And he's literally bragging to other ships that these guys are willing to trade Bacta.
for
trinket.
For religious totems.
Well, yeah, to you it was a trinket, but
right? I think it was far more than a trinket, but if that's all you think it is,
And
I'm okay.
You see him later that night, must have secured his load, and he takes off and sends you guys a polite communication saying thank you for dinner and thank you for speeding him up on his journeys.
Thank you for being an all-day sucker. And we send him on his way.
As he is more than happy in the equitable trade that you gave him.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Oh, okay. So what do you guys think? Should we send some food, send what we had for dinner a little bit over to Captain Czar and try to nice up to her to get those other...
I think
we got to take a totally different approach, and here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we approach them a little bit shady-like, and you've already been over there, so probably not you. Me and Cal could go over there and a little bit shady-like with the, hey, heard that you guys are looking for 4 Bacta tanks. I happen to have 4 Bacta tanks. I can't get my haul loaded in until I get rid of those 4 Bacta tanks. The person that was supposed to come pick them up has never showed up. If you guys want them, you can just take them and we'll forget that they were ever here.
Okay, so you guys kind of come over as some late night guests. What do you do? Knock on the...
well, how about it's after 9:15 and we handle the next shift another time?
Yeah.
She pulls the audible on the clock. Look at that.
Yes, I do.
Here I was going to help you out with a single roll, but we'll have to do it next time.
You were not going to help us out with a single roll.
Now
all you need is a single roll. Tell me what roll you need, and I'll do it.
Nope, it's too late now. We're going to follow BT's directions here. Make sure I don't get in Dutch with the
he's making it up.
He's full of
jerking your chain. Okay,
he's full of pooey.
So we will say that's a good place to wrap
it
up
full of
there. Since y'all showed up, you get 5 experience points.
Yay!
Full experience points.
5 whole experience points.
Halfway there.
5 more than I had yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I like how my picture is still the Heroes Unlimited one. I totally forgot to change that. And we will say that's a good place to call it there for the night.
Yep.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Everybody. See you next week.
See you guys next Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah.